Om Sri Sai Ram. In the previous session, we have discussed about maxima and minima. We are dealing with the topic called applications of derivatives. And in order to solve the problems on maxima and minima, we have found out two methods. The first one is called the first derivative method, and the second one is second derivative method. We need to know what is the working rule so that we can apply that while solving the problems of any kind. While applying the first rule, it says for the given function find out the derivative, equate the derivative with 0. Why do we equate derivative with 0? Because we want to find out critical points. Critical points means where the curve takes turn from increasing to decreasing or from decreasing to increasing. And at those points, if you draw tangents, we know that the tangents are going to be parallel to x-axis. If tangents are parallel to x-axis, their slopes are going to be 0. That is why we equate first derivative with 0 and get the critical points. Then what do we do? In the first method, we take a value in the neighborhood of a particular value. Let us say you got x equal to 2, we take a value little less than 2, we will take a value little more than 2 and check how the sign of derivative is changing. If it is changing from positive to negative, we conclude that it is a point of maxima. If it is changing from negative to positive, we say it is point of minima, and if it is not changing, we say it is a point of inflection. That is the first method. But to solve problems, we always prefer the second method. But in order to apply second method, there is a condition. What is the condition? It should be derivable second time. If the second derivative becomes 0, then you cannot apply that method. But that rarely happens. So as a result, we prefer to use the second method. And what is the second method? Like the first method, function is given, find out the derivative, equate with 0, get the critical points. Then find the second derivative. Substitute those critical values in the second derivative. If the second derivative is positive, we say it is a point of minima. If the second derivative is negative, we say it is a point of maxima. And then by substituting these critical points in the function, we get the maximum value of the function or minimum value of the function as per the requirement. We have solved some problems, some simple problems yesterday. We are going to take up some more problems, and in the next session we are purely concentrating upon applications of maxima minima for solving the problems of mensuration. But before that, general problems, general situations which we come across, we will be dealing. So let us begin with the first problem of today, which happens to be the 7th problem in the textbook. We have, in the previous session we have done the 5th problem, now this is the 7th problem. He says find both the maximum and minimum value of the function. And what is the function? You can call it f of x as 3x to the power 4 minus 8x cube plus 12x square minus 48x plus 25. In the interval, what is the interval? 0 to 3. Remember, the interval is closed interval. Yesterday, the last problem which we were doing, it was about absolute maxima and absolute minima. And we discussed that to find out absolute maxima and absolute minima, we don't need to go for second derivative. What do? We find first derivative, equate with 0, taking into consideration the extreme values for each of them, find out value of the function, and then come to a conclusion about which is the highest, that will be called absolute maxima, which is the least will be called minima, absolute minima. So, first find out f dash x. Derivative of 25 being a constant is 0, 12x square, 24x square, 12x cube, 24x square, 24x minus 48. In the first two terms you find 12x square common, as a result you will get x minus 1. In these two, 24 is common, you get x minus 2, because 12 we have taken common, x minus 2. So, we get x minus 2 one factor, and other factor being, you can actually take 12 common in that, and you get x square plus 2. For critical points, f dash x equal to 0. So, when you equate x minus 2 into 12 into x square plus 2 equal to 0, see 12 cannot be equal to 0. So, leave 12 aside, only the factors can be 0. So, either x minus 2 equal to 0, in that case we get x equal to 2, or x square plus 2 equal to 0, which will give you x square equal to minus 2. And we know that square of a number cannot be negative. If it is negative, it only means that the values of x are going to be unreal. We do not need to discuss about unreal roots. So, we reject saying these values need not be taken into consideration. But x square cannot be minus 2, so we reject. So, the only value we got is x equal to 2, but remember he has given the closed interval. So, by taking x equal to 2, x equal to 0, x equal to 3, in all situations we have to find out the value of fx in order to decide absolute maxima and absolute minima. So, first find out f of, let us say 0, that happens to be the easiest. Substitute, this will become 0, this will become 0, this will become 0, this will become 0, and you directly get 25, because all values of x will become 0. Now, take the value x f of 2, the point which we got, substitute in that. 2 to the power 4 is 16, 3s are 48, minus 2 cube is 8, 8 8s are 64, 2 2s are 4, 4 12s are 48, minus 48 into 2, minus 96 plus 25. Add the terms which are positive, 5 plus 8 13 plus 8 21, 4 plus 4 8 plus 4 12, minus, add the negative terms, 6 plus 4 10, 10 plus 6 16, subtract, minus 9 3 39. So, this is minus 39, leave it as it is. Now, also find out f of 3. 3 to the power 4, 3 3s are 9, 9 9s are 81, 81 into 3, 243, minus 3 3s are 9 3s are 27, 8 into 27, 216. So, minus 216. Next is 3 square is 9, 12 nines are 108. Next 48 into 3, 48 into 3 is going to be minus 3 8s are 24, 3 4s are 12 plus 2 14 plus 25. Once again add the terms with positive sign 1, 2 and 3. So, 5 plus 8 13 plus 3 16, 2 plus 0 plus 4 is 6 and then 1 plus 2 is 3 minus add the terms with negative sign 4 plus 6 is 10, 5 plus 1 is 6, 1 plus 2 is 3. So, the answer is 6. Compare these values, find out which is the least and which is the most. So, 3 values which we got are F0 is 25, F2 is minus 39, F3 is 6. Among the positive values we can see that 25 is the highest. So, the maximum value or in other terms absolute maxima of the function is 25 when x is 0. This we will write in conclusion. So, x equal to 0 gives absolute maxima of fx as 25. Now, take the negative values. We have only one negative value, no need to compare. So, we can say that and x equal to 2 gives absolute minima of fx. The next problem says it is given that x equal to 1 and the function at x equal to 1. At x equal to 1 function fx, what is the function? X to the power 4 minus 62 x square plus ax plus 9 attains its maximum value. He says the function attains maximum value in the interval 0 to 2. It is nothing but it is absolute maxima at x equal to 1. That is what he means. And he says if it is so, find out the unknown a. So, how do you find out the value of a? We follow the normal procedure, that is find out f dash x. Because derivative of ax is going to be a into 1, so a. As function attains maximum value at x equal to 1, we need to find out a. What you do is also find out f double dash x. And what did we say? We say that the second derivative is going to be negative. The second derivative is going to be negative if it is a point of maxima. Okay? And we know that by taking the value x equal to 1 means at that particular point the first derivative should be 0. Okay? So, either way you can do, either by using first derivative you can solve the problem, or you can also solve the problem with the help of second one. So, let us do it in a more simple way by first derivative method. At x equal to 1, f dash x is equal to 0. So, substitute x equal to 1 in the function and equate with 0. You will get 4 into 1 cube minus 124 into 1 plus a equal to 0. we want to find out A. So, this is 4 minus 124 is minus 120. Take it to the other side, it will become A equal to 120. This is the easier way. How did we do? We equated first derivative with 0. Why? Because at x equal to 1, it attains its maximum value, means it is a point of maxima. So, equate with 0, you get the value of A. Let us move to the next problem. The next problem says, find two positive numbers x and y such that x plus y equal to 60 and x y cube is maximum. Two conditions, and it happens to be the 14th problem. X plus y equal to 60 and x y cube is maximum. X plus y equal to 60, so you can write y in terms of x, y equal to 60 minus x. And he wants xy cube to be maximum. So, this is the function. You can call it by any name. Let us say we call it, let us say p is equal to xy cube. P can be written as, substitute the value of y, it will become 60 minus x cube. Remember, x and y both are variables. So, what we did, instead of having three variables p, x, y, we converted one in terms of the other. Now, there are only two variables. Find out dp by dx. Use the product formula. Derivative of x is 1. So, you are going to get 6 minus x whole cube plus x as it is. Derivative of this is going to be 3 into 60 minus x whole square into minus 1. What is common in both of them? 60 minus x whole square. If you take out common, what will be left? 60 minus x. Remember, and then you have minus sign with 3x. So, minus 3x. In other terms, this can be written as 60 minus x whole square into 60 minus 4x. He wants xy cube is maximum, means he wants p to be maximum. When we can say p is maximum? P can be maximum only at critical points. How do you find critical points? By equating first derivative with 0. So, do that. So, we will get so, when you equate this with 0, remember this is the value of dp by dx. If you equate that with 0, you will get 60 minus x equal to 0, which will give you x equal to 60, or 60 minus 4x equal to 0, which will give you x equal to 15. Two values we get. Proceed. How do we proceed? Find out the second derivative. How do you find out second derivative? By differentiating this. So, d2p by dx square equal to derivative of this, it is 2 into 60 minus x into minus 1 into 60 minus 4x plus 60 minus x whole square into 60 minus, we want to find out the derivative of 60 minus 4x, which is going to be minus 4. Take 60 minus x common. In fact, 2 into 60 minus x can be taken common, and what will be left? It will be left with this minus 60 plus 4x, and here if you take out 60 minus x common, you are going to be left with minus 240 plus 4x. So, it is 2 into 60 minus x. Simplify this, 4x plus 4x is 8x minus 300. Now, we are interested to know whether this second derivative is positive or negative at x equal to 60 and at x equal to 15. Our question is x plus y is 60, xy cube is maximum. In fact, this whole what we are trying to do by second derivative method can be avoided. How we can avoid? We got two values of x, one is x equal to 60 and another is x equal to 15. Just with the help of that you can discuss. Why? Because it is given that x plus y is 60. What happens if x is 60? Directly substitute x equal to 60. So, what you will get? You will get y equal to 0. If y is 0, xy cube will not be remaining, it will vanish. So, x cannot be 60. So, the conclusion is x equal to 15. Instead of going through the second derivative method and then substituting and calculating, you can also do this problem directly. So, if you are going to do directly, we can say that x equal to 60 is not possible. Why it is not possible? As x plus y equal to 60, and if you substitute x equal to 60, you will get y equal to 0. If y equal to 0, p equal to xy cube does not exist. Why it will not exist? It will vanish, because if you substitute y equal to 0, the function itself vanish. Hence, x equal to 15 is the answer. If x is 15, the function xy cube is going to be maximum. It can also be solved by substituting in the second derivative. Here you substitute x equal to 15, you are going to get the same answer. Not that we cannot do by second derivative method. For example, if you substitute x equal to 60, here 60 minus 60 makes it 0, second derivative became 0. And yesterday we discussed that whenever second derivative becomes 0, we cannot follow the method. That is why we were avoiding to follow the second derivative method. So, we went back to first derivative. So, this is how we can solve the problems. Let us move on to the next problem. We are moving on to one practical problem. He says a square piece of tin of side 18 centimeter is to be made into a box without a top by cutting a square from each corner and folding up the flaps to form a box. What should be the side of square to be cut off so that the volume of the box is maximum possible? Just take for example, let us say here is a paper. It is not exactly square, let us say it is a rectangle, does not matter, it is enough to understand the concept. So, here we have a sheet of paper. We have cut the squares from each corner. If you have cut the square from each corner, means the length and width of that piece is going to be same. You removed it from 4 corners and folded it in this particular manner, and you can see that it becomes a box, and this particular box is open. What he is asking us to do is prove that the volume is going to be maximum. So, let us solve this interesting problem. We have removed that and then we have folded the sides. So, actually the base of the box is going to be this dotted line. All other things, this part is gone, means we have removed it. Let us say this part we have removed it, this part we have removed it, and this part also we have removed it. And then what we did? We folded and it became a box. He says a square piece of tin of side 18. Original length was 18. Each side the length was 18. What we did? We cut off x. So what it will become? Let us say now, originally whatever it was, now let us say it is PQRS is the base of the square. If it is so, what will be PQ? Total was 18, both sides we have cut off x, so it is going to be 18 minus 2x. Same is the case with this side, 18 minus 2x. And when you fold it, we get a box. What will be its volume? Volume is length into width into height. Even though length and width are same, that is 18 minus 2x and 18 minus 2x, but the height is going to be x. Why? That what we have cut only we have folded. So volume of the box, this happens to be the 17th problem. Volume of the box, V is equal to L into B into H. In other terms, V is equal to L. L is 18 minus 2x, 18 minus 2x into x. You can take 2 common in both, it will become 4, 9 minus x whole square into x, or 4x into 9 minus x whole square. This is volume. Our objective is to say that this volume of the box is maximum. What should be x? We need to find out x so that the volume of the box is maximum. If volume has to be maximum, the method is first find out dV by dx. Use the product formula. So it is 4 into 9 minus x whole square plus 4x into 2 into 9 minus x into minus 1. Simplify. 9 square is 81, or this 4 can be kept outside for convenience sake. So 81 plus x square minus 18x. We have kept 4 outside, so multiply with minus 2x. So it will become minus 18x minus 2x with x will become minus 2x square. Minus into minus, it will become plus 2x square. Simplify further. X square plus 2x square, 3x square, minus 18x, 36x, plus 81. Once again, you can take 3 common. You will get x square minus 12x plus 27. Factorize it. Why we need to factorize? Because we need to find out the critical points. How do you find critical points? By equating the first derivative with 0. So what are the factors of this? X minus 9 into x minus 3. So this is dV by dx. For critical points, dV by dx equal to 0. If we equate with 0, we know 12 cannot be 0. These two factors will be equated and you will get x equal to 3, x equal to 9. Two values we got. Now use your common sense. What is the length of the sheet? 18. If you take x equal to 9, means what? If you just make it half and remove, sheet itself will not be there. So the only possibility is that x is equal to 3. Means we don't need to go to second derivative method. Directly we can come to a conclusion with the help of this. We will say x cannot be be 9 as length of the sheet is 18. See, the total length is 18. If you cut off 9 one side and 9 one side, there is nothing else left to make a box. Just imagine here this x comes up to the middle and this also comes to the middle, and if you remove this and if you remove this, there is no sheet left. So you cannot make a box. So x cannot be 9. So the only possibility is x equal to 3. Hence, each side of the square x is equal to 3. This is the answer. And this is how slowly we are entering to practical problems by using maxima and minima. Let us move to the next. With this we will end the session, and the problem says, show that of all rectangles inscribed in a given fixed circle, if circle is fixed, try to understand the question. Now onwards, when we are taking mensuration problems, geometry problems, something will be fixed. For example, here he says fixed circle. If circle is fixed means radius is a constant. In that you are inserting rectangle. He says when you insert a rectangle, the rectangle will be of maximum area if it is a square. That is what we have to prove. So let us take up this very interesting problem. We have a circle, and inside the circle we have a rectangle. This is the center of the circle, this is the radius. Since we can take it as L and this as a B, initially we are calling it a rectangle. Finally, we have to prove that for maximum area, it has to be a square. This angle is 90 degrees. Read the question again. Show that of all rectangles inscribed in a given fixed circle as, this is problem number 19, as circle is fixed, so radius r is a constant. Means you don't need to consider it as a variable. Okay? Let AB equal to L and BC equal to B of rectangle. Now it is up to you, you will take it as L and B, or you want to take X and Y, but remember both are variables. If you have a confusion by taking L and B as variables, you can take them as X and Y. Remember both are variables. Okay. He wants that area of the rectangle to be maximum. So what is the formula for area of rectangle? A is equal to L into B. This is the formula. So now we have three variables. A is also variable, L is also variable, B is also variable. So whenever such situation comes, what do? We change one in terms of the other. How do you change it? Take the right triangle ABC and use the Pythagoras theorem. We can say that 2r square is equal to L square plus B square. So we can say that 4r square minus B square or minus L square, you can say, is equal to B square, and if you want to find out B, it is square root of this. Hence, A is equal to, L remains L, in place of B we can substitute 4r square minus L square. Remember that in this relation, R is a constant, so you don't need to worry about it. There is only A and L are changing. A is changing with respect to L. So find out dA by dL. How do you differentiate it? Derivative of the first function, it is like ddx of x is 1. So, you are going to get 4r square minus L square into, sorry, plus L remains as it is, derivative of this. How do you find derivative of this? It is 1 by 2 under root of 4r square minus L square. Why it is so? Into minus 2L. Why? Because the whole thing to the power half. So, 1 by 2 will come to the power minus half. So, this term will come off to denominator, and when you differentiate this, derivative of 4r square is going to be 0 because it is a constant. Derivative of L square is going to be 2L because minus sign is there, minus 2L. So, cancel this 2 and 2 and then try to write, and you can take LCM. LCM will become 4r square minus L square. As a result, this will become 4r square minus L square minus L square. Four r square minus L square because we took LCM, and here L into minus L, so minus L square. Simplify it. Simplify it one more step. It can be written as 4r square minus 2L square by under root of 4r square minus L square. In order to get critical points, what do? We equate first derivative with 0. We say dA by dL is equal to 0. If you equate this with 0, denominator will go and multiply with 0, it will become 0. We will get 4r square equal to 2L square. In other terms, we are going to get L 2 1s are 2 2s are, we are going to get L equal to root 2r. L equal to root 2r. Or r can be written as r is equal to, this 2 will go to denominator, L by root 2. Either way, since we are just finding derivative with respect to L, L will be substituted, L will be useful than compared to R. Now, how do we solve? We find the second derivative. Okay? So, when you find second derivative, you have to differentiate this result. So, it is d2a upon dl square. How do we differentiate this? Derivative of numerator. Remember, r is a constant, so that is gone. Minus 2l square, it will become minus 4l under root of 4r square minus L square. This is the derivative of numerator, and we have multiplied with denominator, minus numerator will come as it is 4r square minus 2L square. Derivative of denominator. How do you find derivative of denominator? Again, to the power half. So, as a result, it will become 1 by 2 under root of 4r square minus L square into derivative of this will give you minus 2L. Again, you can cancel 2. Get the denominator here, will become minus 4L, 4r square minus L square minus, minus of minus it will become plus, L will come as a product into 4r square minus 2L square by under root of 4r square minus L square. How do we proceed now? We got the second derivative. Now, we have to substitute the value of L which we got in this. Wherever L is there, substitute root r. So, and remember, we are not interested in knowing how much is the value. We are only interested to know what is the sign. Is it plus or minus? If it is minus, maximum. If it is positive, it is minimum. So, substitute in place of L root 2r. L is root 2r, so it will become 2r square plus L is root 2r, 4r square minus 2 L square will be 2r square, so it will become 4r square upon under root of 4r square minus L square 2r square. Observe this carefully. 4r square minus 4r square will become 0. So, the second term is gone. Only look at the first term. 4r square minus 2r square is going to be plus 2r square. Plus 2r square with minus, it will be minus, and 4r square minus 2r square again positive. So, the whole thing, when we write it, we can say d2a by dl square at L equal to root 2r is less than 0. Less than 0 means negative. If it is less than 0, we conclude that the volume is going to be, area is going to be maximum. When the area is maximum, when L is equal to root 2. What did he ask in the problem? He said, in the same problem, he says, prove that it is a square. How will you prove it is a square? You have to prove that length is equal to width. So, length and breadth, we have to prove that both are equal. So, what did we get? We got at L equal to root 2r, area is maximum. Now, we have to prove length and width are equal. So, what is the length? L is anyway known. Find out B. What is B? Where did we left B in order to get the value? Here. This is the value of B. So, what is B? Under root of 4r square minus L square. L is what? Root 2r. So, if you square it, you will get 2r square. So, you are going to get 2r square, or you are going to get root 2r. Width is root 2r, length is root 2r, shows that length is equal to width. So, the area of the rectangle is going to be maximum when length equal to width. Hence, L equal to B equal to root 2r and rectangle is a square. This is the conclusion. So, with this, we come to a close of this particular problem, and we will continue some more problems on maxima and minima in the next session. Thank you. Sai Ram.